What is going on, miners, and welcome back to the Hobbyist Miner channel. Well, it's been quite some time actually, 2 or 3 weeks now since we've actually done a shed update video, and I've been holding off because I wanted to get a ton done. I have made some, at least in my eyes, some fantastic progress over the last few weeks, and I thought, hey, let's get a video together this week and share you guys exactly where we are. So, as the thumbnail and title says, our mining shed is now live. Our shed actually has probably about 80–90% of my mining rigs in it right now and mining. So let's go ahead and head over there. But before we do, today's video is sponsored by Today's video is sponsored by fluxpools.net, the official pool of the development team behind Flux. Fluxpools is excited to announce their miner appreciation program. Fluxpools will be giving one lucky miner on their pool $1,000 in Flux every month for the next 12 months. Guess what pool I have my Flux rig on? That's right, Fluxpool. Get this as well, Fluxpools just recently cut their parallel asset fees in half. Full details on Fluxpool's monthly $1,000 giveaway down below in the description. Thanks again to fluxpools.net for supporting the hobbyist miner community. Okay, so we've made some great progress on the shed. I'm going to try to talk a little bit louder as our exhaust fans are pretty loud on this side. So you can see down here, one of the improvements we made so far. It took us a while to get these tow cables in, but what we do have is the black item here is actually a 2-foot grounding rod, and then that hooks into a carabiner, which is rated for 1,000 pounds. And then we have a tow cable that goes in and drills through that 4x4 and then loops back around and hooks back to the carabiner. So I wanted to get something to secure this thing directly to the ground. In a previous video, we talked about these plates here, and the plates do go ahead and connect the shed to the 4x4. Now, granted, there's some screws in there, and then into our decking. We have those all the way around here, and we have another one down here, and these are on all 4 sides. So in the next week or two, we are going to get our lattice now cut, and the lattice is going to run somewhere around here and go down into the stone, and that just kind of helps to hide and clean everything up. Okay, so on the intake side, take a look. We got our gutter in. This is a, sorry, that sun is crazy bright. We have a 5-inch gutter that we did put in place. I did not do this on my own. I had help doing it from my local chump change, as I say. It does slope, as you guys can see. It starts on this side, and if you follow the line, it does slope downward a tiny bit onto the left-hand side there. This will help out tremendously. I was running into an issue where the water was coming off of the roof, and the roof was so like in line and parallel with the wall that it was actually coming and dripping right on here. So now this will actually do a really good job. We were getting a little bit of water here in the bottom of the shed, tiny bit, little pooling right here inside the shed. So this gutter will help out. It goes this way, and then it goes with the grade of the property. And as you guys can see, it comes out over here. So let's go ahead and jump inside the shed and show you guys what we got. All right, I'm gonna try to talk louder. Our shed, guys, has shrunk tremendously, but hey, we are mining. So let's go over everything. So our Gladiator rack is in. This one I actually had to spend quite a bit of time finding, and it took 2 weeks to get in actually from Lowe's. But this is, as you guys can see here, Gladiator. Our Gladiator rack, and what I wanted this rack for was a few reasons. First off, it's 60 inches from that side over to here. So as you guys can see, we have a little room between here and the door so we can get through. We can also get our rigs in there, which is nice. Now I wanted it 60 inches as well because when I got my ASIC set up in here, right now I have our X12 sitting here. The ASIC's going to go from here and go over to that side there. So I wanted to have a gap for where the ASIC is going to sit on, right above the floor. We're going to put it right off the floor. Looking back this way, one of my main objectives with this rack was, okay, I wanted to take advantage of the space and get it as high as possible, which you can see up here. I measured everything. So you can see, look, our mini ASICs, they got room up top here, and this is a perfect place for the mini ASICs up top. Now, another objective with this rack was I wanted to be able to do this. I'm walking completely around my rack. It's louder over here, I'm sorry. Look, I was able to walk entirely around my rack without tripping over any cables, stepping on any cables. We're gonna go back to the intake side because it's quieter over here. So that was another objective with this Gladiator rack. Something else we did since last video is I put another layer, and I actually put they call it the top clear coat layer on my epoxy floor. So now it's so much smoother and cleaner. I really, really like it. It's turned out nice. All right, so we're mining, and we got a lot of stuff mining in here, at least a lot of stuff for me. So let's go ahead and go over it and my rack design. So the rack design, I wanted to put all my server cases on the bottom here, and I actually measured this out. I wanted to try to get it a little bit lower, but where these are actually the secure holes are, if I went down a little bit lower, it actually would be too low for my 8 GPU server cases. So I had to bump it up a tiny bit. So what does that mean for right here? So I can't fit another row of X8 server cases in here this way. I could put, what, 2, 3 of them maybe on this rack, but you know what I reserved this rack for? Open air rigs. So for right now, I still have 3 rigs left in my server room. I can fit 2 of those 12 GPU open air ones from AAA Wave and also GPU risers right in here if I wanted to. But so I'm going to be moving those out in the next week or two to get everything out of my house. Those will go right here in the middle. Down below, let's take a look. So the reason I have this gap in here is for my PDUs and my Ethernet cables. So underneath here, I've gone ahead, I'll swap around to the exhaust side real quick. I put my PDUs, let me move this here. So you can see some of the PDU there. I have everything zip tied and Velcroed down, so let me show you. So there's my switch. There's the PDU, one of them. So I have 2 PDUs under there. We can support a third one. Right now we're at 5100, so this PDU is maxed out. This one's at 4200, so we're almost there. And then we'll have 1 left and available. Trying to get out of the way here of all the exhaust fans. Let me give you a quick tour on this side. Now, the reason I did that first shelf, let me jump over there. I did this first shelf here, guys, because I wanted to get everything off the ground I could. That X12 is the exception. But as you can imagine, if I get any water in here, something, anything on the ground, it's at least off the ground a little bit. So no cables on the ground, PDUs and network switches off the ground. As you guys can see over here, here's my PDUs. I'm actually going to talk to my electrician about getting these cut and putting on new L630R locking plugs that will go from here and go straight over to the meter boxes. So I just go from up top right over, and we get rid of all this extra cable that we have here. These PDUs that I have, the triplet ones, I'll put a link down below. They come with 15 feet of cable on here, which is pretty crazy. And here's our Ethernet cable, our uplink coming in, and then it goes over and runs down. I kind of use the inside of the racks for all my channels that you guys can see there, which worked out nicely. So we talked about our PDUs and our switches on the bottom. Sorry guys, there isn't just a ton of room in here. We have our server cases here, and they're doing great. None of these server cases, I don't believe, I can look here, I don't think any of them are at 100% right now. This is all of them. Everything's running at 60%, and our intake temperature is 96, and our exhaust is 98. So we're running 57 GPUs right now in here, all along here. So let's talk about up top here on my top rack. So we have our Starcoin and our Handshake miner wired into a 120 watt HP power supply with a breakout board. We then have some Dogecoin miners, and we have those split. So this one's on this PDU here. We have another Dogecoin, Litecoin, script mining here and here. This is one of those Voscoin ones. Another 1200 watt power supply sharing that load. We have more, this is another Dogecoin, Litecoin miner. This is my Dogecoin, Litecoin miner Pro. And then here, we have another 1200 watt, and this is powering our iPolos. 1, 2, 3 iPolos. Those, man, barely use. I think these two are like, I don't know, 250 50 watts. I think this one's like 100 watts. So we have those up top here, and I wanted to make sure that the entire design of the shed, guys, this intake coming in, everything's intake is on this side, all the intakes are on this side, and then everything's pushing through the shed on this side here. Now, I got 3 cables running down. I do need to get these cleaned up for my iPolos. I actually would rather, I need to get these configured on wireless still. I'd rather have them on wireless and have less cables running down to the switch. On the back side here, we actually moved all of our octo miners to the octopus cables. So you can see here, octopus cable. And then right down here, the octopus cable actually goes into a C19 or a C20, and then the C20 goes into my PDU. So the PDU I have has C20 port or C19 ports, and also the C14 ports as well. So I went with the octopus cables to clean everything up. All of our Ethernet cables are orange coming out of our rigs here, but you can feel all the heat and fans are all blowing out and then get hit by our exhaust fans here. Our exhaust fans up top are at 40% and 40%, and then down below we're at 30%. I haven't needed to go louder. I still need to bump these, get these mounted, which would be super helpful. Other things we did, we finished up our soundproofing tiles in here. We finished them up floor to ceiling on our exhaust wall, you can see, and also in the corners. Shout out to Hawk Crypto Mining for some of his recommendations. And then on our intake side, we just did between the vents that we do have through here, which worked out nicely. So guys, this is our shed. I mean, things are running awesome. I was away with the family a week ago, and everything just ran amazing. I could manage it from remotely, which is another huge benefit to HiveOS. If you guys don't have or are not using HiveOS, I'll put a link down below to the HiveOS page. It is a referral link. If you guys want to try it out, go for it. HiveOS is free up to X amount of rigs, but please go over and check it out. So yeah, I mean, look at this. We're rocking, guys. The shed is working out amazing. I did put, this is a thermometer I have out here, a remote one that goes into the house so I can see what the temp is on the exhaust side of the shed. But what's left? So on the shed, we're gonna do the lattice on the outside of the shed, and then I wanna move my 2 12 GPU rigs in here. One of them is DJ Mine's rig. We're gonna put it right here. And then the second rig is a hosted rig that I have that I'm hosting for my cousin. I'm gonna put that right here. That's the 81060s. This one, the X12, I'm probably gonna move over here. Right when you come in the door. It's gonna be inconvenient, but I don't really have anywhere else to put it. My X12 has all my 470s in them that are mining Neoxa right now. And my last rig that I need to find a home for, and I gotta figure out what I wanna do with it. I'm gonna try to get it in here. It is 12 RX 6600s. So I wanna put that in here. And then our shed's kind of full at this point. I do not want anything on the floor in the front. I do not want anything in the back on the floor. I want to keep the shed exactly where it is. So what does this need for expansion? So over the next few months, I don't know about you guys, but my focus is going to be more efficient. So I'm going to be taking some of my older GPUs. In my Scarlet Witch rig, I got some 570s in here. We're going to swap them out. I'm going to package them up in boxes. But it all depends on where the altcoin market goes. In my Gambit rig, I got 580s. I'm going to box those up. But it all depends on the direction things go. I'm not selling anything. I'm gonna power down some of my less efficient GPUs, get those rigs available, and look at buying more 3070s, 3080s, 3060s, and more of the 6600s is the direction I'm going. So it looks like right now we're about, we'll say 9,500, a little less on our total power here. So we'll have to see what our electric bill comes in at. Oh, look at that. Looks like it didn't load. We'll refresh it again. But other than that, guys, that is it. This is where our crypto mining shed sits. I am going to do a future video on a price breakdown on everything I can. I don't have labor within that. Wasn't really tracking labor, but I am tracking 100% on hardware and materials because I need that for when I go ahead and expense things with the business. But I am thrilled, guys. This shed has come together amazing. And thank you guys all for your awesome recommendations. Well, guys, that's going to wrap up today's update video. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, post them down below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. And finally, don't forget to subscribe. Take care.